So why are demos important? For us, educating the public about the Middle Ages is the basic for our charter. I mean, we're a non-profit educational organization, so educating the public about the Middle Ages is pretty important. And demos are a great way of doing that. It's a hands-on medieval experience. Generally, we're promoting the arts. We're also promoting our sport. We talked about that for the heavy and rapier combat. Most people are very visual, so seeing a demo really kind of puts it into perspective for them. Increases SCA public relations, and we're going to talk more about PR here in a few minutes. And easier to explain the SCA. I'm sure all of you have been at the office trying to talk about what you do as a weekend warrior, and it's really hard to put that, those words into something that visually they could catch a lot easier. So trying to explain the SCA with a demo is a lot better way to go. SCA members get together and have fun, which is true, and we should be doing that with our demos, but I want to talk a little bit more about how important it is to still focus on what we're doing as presenting for the demo. Now, we talk about demos. Are all demos the same? No, they're not. There are several different types of demonstrations in the SCA. One is what we call an educational demo. Those are typically what we talk about when we go into the schools. We also have public relation demos. If we're attending a parade or a festival, somewhere we're not necessarily actively recruiting, but we're out in the community. And then we have, of course, what we're going to be talking about today, which is recruiting demos. That's where we're looking for members and we're trying to recruit membership. Now, the right kind of demo can bring in new members. And I'll leave that with a ... because we're going to finish that sentence in a few minutes about doing the right kind of demo and presenting ourselves in a very positive way to the community. Now, my next question, which I'm sure a lot of you are going to laugh about, is should anyone be allowed to talk at a demo? Should everyone be allowed to talk at a demo? No. That is right. Who should talk at demos? Good public speakers, people that are positive, similar to target population. I can tell you a little story about in our own group. We actually had a college group that was having some population issues, and they were losing members left and right. And so a group of us all got together and went down there to do a demo, and we noticed that no one at the college wanted to speak with us. We started looking around, and it seemed that every single person there was over 35. Some were even over 50. And at that point we realized that we had not brought the right kind of people to that specific type of demo. The following week, we asked some college students from another one of our colleges in our groups that came up, and lo and behold, we got college students to come and talk with us. People that are SCA knowledgeable. Now, this is not the only criteria, and I'd like to stress that just because they're SCA knowledgeable does not mean they should be talking to the public. And last but not least, we need people that are non-threatening. Not everybody is able to speak with the public, and we talk about that old man creepy factor, especially when we deal with some of the college students. And that's something that we kind of tiptoe around, but it's the truth. When you're out doing public relations and you're out in the community, you're wanting to put your best foot forward, and you need people that are very non-threatening to speak with the public. Now, what should you be talking about at demos? Well, I would like to think that at least the very first thing you're going to talk about is medieval culture. That's what we are, an educational, nonprofit, medieval organization. We also should be talking about the arts and sciences. There's, of course, more to the SCA than just combat-related things. So stressing the arts and sciences for those people that aren't interested in combat-related activities is very, very important. SCA combat conventions. We'll talk about that a little bit more, but not just that we're hitting each other with big sticks, but how we do it, how we go about it, what the rules are. Very important. I always mention in all my SCA demos that I attend to all the children that you should not be trying this at home. Kids are very impressionable. They see, knights and these great things of people hitting each other with sticks, and that's very important that you want to mention not to try that at home. Other SCA events, events that are coming up, things that are going on, happenings, activities. These are also very important to talk about at a demo. And the SCA cool factor. Every single person that's been involved in the SCA, if they've stayed and they've really liked it, there's something about the SCA that draws them in. We spend a lot of money, invest a lot of time in this game that we play, that there has to be something cool about that, and sometimes we don't really express that to other people. So we want to talk about what it's cool about it for us. Now I'd like to make a small note here and plug definitely the SCA website, because in dealing with the public, we do have media liaison information now available to us through the Society organization. So you want to check out the Kingdom and the Society web pages for the media liaison info for suggestions. So hopefully this makes sense. We want to talk about our medieval culture, the activities that we do, and the cool factor that why we want to play the SCA. Now we need to talk about what you should not talk about at demos. No negative stories. At any given point, there is no reason that any negative story should be coming out of that demo. We're talking to the public, this is their first impression of us, and we do not want to have any negativity out there. Tales of drunken debauchery. Well, even if we're talking to as college students, and a lot of us got in college, those are the stories that we just don't want to bring to a demo. Two-chuck horror stories. I realize all of you out there have some type of story where you're out on the field and this happened and that happened. This is not the appropriate time. They do not have a reference about the two-chucks. They don't have a reference about Penzic. They don't have a reference about us. And there's no way to spin that to make that sound good. Just avoid it. SCA politics. I know this is something very difficult for a lot of people. And again, you're going to have to decide who should and shouldn't talk to the public. But we don't want anyone bringing any type of SCA politics to a demo. Again, not appropriate. Don't bring the authenticity police. I've been involved with a number of demos. I know other people have been involved with a number of demos where people think of us as a Ren Fair. And so they see the demos going on and they show up in a pirate hat with purple lame and a gold scarf, and they just they've made an effort. They have tried to create something that they think of that we'll like and that will please us. And the last thing in the world we want to do is dress them down. It'd be better to approach it and say, hey, we really appreciate your effort. We think you're really trying to get into it, and why don't you come along here and look at this book on Elizabethan or look at this book on Viking, and we'll try to show you something that's a little bit more period or appropriate. But you definitely do not want to let them leave feeling negatively about the effort that they put forward. Now, one way to reduce the inappropriate talk is by using a script. Now, I know half of you are groaning right now as soon as I say the word script, but I'm not really talking about line by line, like theater or like a play, but actually setting up a plan so that when you go to the actual demo, you have people designated to speak. You have people designated to do this activity. You have people designated to do that activity. That does a couple things. One, it definitely sets you up to be more organized, and so it comes off a lot more professional. But the other thing this does is it actually reduces the amount of people that have specific jobs or speaking jobs at your demo, and that can actually help you to keep some of those people that you feel are very threatening or aren't good public speakers or that are scary out of the demo. And if they approach you and they say, I would really like to be part of this, you say, well, you know what, we've got our script, we've got the 5 people that we need right now, we really appreciate your effort, maybe next time. And that helps redirect them away, or say, we've got the speaking parts all taken care of, if you would like to go work in the blacksmith area, or if you want to help set up poles, that would be great, we'd love to have your help. And that way you're leaving them with a sense of positive, that they're being, with their effort, but yet you've got a script that kind of defines and controls your environment. So when should you hold a demo? Let me, before I flip the page, let me actually talk a little bit about the background, the last 15-20 years of SCA thought on demos, when to hold those. Typically, most groups hold their demos when they're in a crisis mode. So they've had maybe some long-term members that have filled out the officer positions, have done all the autocrating, they've done the feast-crating, and they've started to burn out. And people are dropping left and right, or they've moved out of the area. Suddenly the group realizes that it's in crisis, and they just demo. They got demos here, they got demos there. And what ends up happening is they start bringing in this huge influx of people. And with that huge influx of people, you start to have a lot of attrition, because the group typically cannot take care of all this large amount of people coming in. So the population ends up doing this, highs and lows, and you get a lot of yo-yoing effect that's really stressful and it's hard on the group. What we're going to talk about is another technique to approach that actually keeps your group a little bit more stable.